All right. Hello, Eric.
Hey, John. It's mostly security time.
Yeah, evidently I can't even say the word hello. Well,
That's all right.
you are going above and beyond tonight, recording from your vacation.
Oh well, everybody is headed to sleep. Although there are some younger, let's say 20 somethings, who are making it noisy in the house. So I'm actually sitting out in my truck. So the length of tonight's podcast is how long my battery survives.
That sounds like a challenge. Okay. Well, no chit chat then. No. Get
That's
right
right.
to business.
Dive right into
Get
it.
right to business. Well, I had one piece of follow up this week that was actually more to your topic last week, which was the fact that web authentication got added to Edge.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to a no password society. Get rid of passwords.
I have more than once in the past week thought, oh, okay, maybe I should go buy myself a YubiKey,
Yeah.
which should say something.
Yeah. Which is great, and hopefully Apple will add. I know Chrome is on board, of course, and it's great to see Microsoft adding that. Hopefully Apple will add that in with Safari at some point soon.
Yeah. Well, if there's any word on it, I haven't read anything. It might be sneaking by me somewhere, but I haven't heard a peep.
Nope, me either.
No, well,
Yeah.
that
I
might
guess
mean it's next WWDC, huh?
right.
Okay.
And then I guess if you want to go with another small tidbit of follow up, it's a topic we've kind of harped on. I guess kind of similar to the WebAuthn thing and the YubiKey thing is the Reddit breach, where they had hijacked some SMS based authentication where people are using, they were trying to do the right thing and use a second factor, but it was using SMS based and they still got hacked. So a nice Krebs article about how there are some limits to the SMS-based authentication. As I think was it last week or the week, last week or the week before, talked about kind of the levels.
Yeah.
There's level 1, SMS. Level 2, an authenticator app, and
Right.
going beyond into the hardware keys. So,
Well, and the SMS is really the weak spot is the carriers,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, and it's still the social engineering. And I haven't checked recently to see if SMS or if Reddit has come out and said exactly how the SMS codes were stolen. But I imagine they will eventually. But yeah, just another point. Hey, watch out for, even with two-factor authentication, it's not foolproof.
Right. Yeah, and I kind of shudder a little bit because of how many services I have where I have enabled two-factor auth. It's just a text to my phone.
Yeah. The ones that really make me nervous, though, are the ones that support hardware keys or even authenticator apps, but then also allow you to use SMS. And so they have a cascading failover. If you don't have your hardware key, you can click and say, okay, well, give me your authenticator app. If you don't have your authenticator app, you can say, okay, well, then send me a text message. It's not.
You're only as secure as your weakest link.
Yes, exactly. So
you got 5 locks on the door, but the window right next to the door is halfway open, and
exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I have continued with my adoption of 1Password, and moved more sites into there, and more and longer passwords. I'm sure it'll still be a few months before I'm really truly all the way in there, but yeah, I'm trying to be a good guy.
One of the other side benefits to GDPR, I think, and global companies is I've received emails from services I had forgotten I had ever subscribed to, informing me of my GDPR rights, and
Right.
having to go in and try to log in and change passwords. And I don't remember ever having signed up for that site. So
Yeah. Gee, thanks. I got a lot of spam I just ignore, so I'm sure I've got accounts all over the place. All right. Well, hey, in the interests of battery,
I'm at 88%.
Oh, it's going down fast. All right. So what topic do you have for me this week?
Well, so I am actually vacationing in Idaho, kind of central Idaho, Magic Valley. My daughter and I went fishing in the river, I guess you would say. So instead of lake fishing, we're trying stream fishing. We caught a couple fish, enjoyed that very much, and have been enjoying the outdoors of Idaho. And so I thought my article I think I will pick today is from Idaho. And there was an issue. I was not aware that this was a thing, but I guess it makes sense. Inmates in the Idaho State Correctional Institution are able to purchase, and I guess it's not only Idaho, other states can do this. There is a company that produces kind of like tablets, it appears, so that inmates can email home or, take classes to learn things and play games and other things like that. And the way that, since they don't have money or they earn pennies on the dollar for jobs or whatever they do, families can deposit money into their accounts and then it turns into credits. And then they can use those credits to send an email, which apparently is per email is roughly 50 cents. I think one of the things I read said. So it's generally pretty expensive and frankly sounds a little bit scammy to me, but anyways.
It's a pretty awful situation, yes.
Yeah, but what apparently some inmates had discovered was, call it a flaw or a glitch or something, because they don't actually get money, they get credits. It's kind of like a video game, right? You don't use actual cash, you get tokens, to then you exchange those tokens in the game for something. Apparently they get credits, and they had found a way to exploit a hole in how this credit system worked to grant themselves credits. And so a lot of these news articles talked about stealing $250,000 in credits and improperly applied those to their accounts. And really what it is they just found a hole and were giving themselves credits. They weren't actually stealing money per se, they were stealing credits. I kind of liken it to, you walk up to the soda machine and put in your 50 cents for a soda. The money comes out, but then also comes out a soda. Right?
Right.
There was a bug somewhere in the system that was giving them free sodas or free credits. And anyway, so the long and the short of this was, the interesting thing about this is it, one, opened my eyes to some of the technologies and things that are available to inmates, which I was not aware of. And then, it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to feel bad for, some company that's, what it feels like, exploiting people. Yeah, they're inmates, but
truly,
it feels like you're exploiting them if you're charging them 50 cents to send an email, which is essentially free for the planet.
Yeah.
So, anyways, long and the short, it was.
I read in a different
story.
article. It doesn't look like it's in this one, but yeah, it was more than $1 a minute for phone calls, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and to people who even their families outside can't really afford to pay this. So this is just it's maybe a little bit of a political commentary here, but this is a real problem with privatizing correctional facilities. Anyway, that's my my definite opinion.
On top of that, the idea that technology has pretty much permeated everywhere, and there is ways to abuse it. All right, so what I also found interesting is there is a security aspect to this, and the spokesman said in a statement, while the vast majority of individuals use our secure technology appropriately, we are continually working to improve our products to prevent any attempts at misuse. And the word I take issue with in that statement is secure technology. Because this wasn't an exploit. This was somebody, like I said, finding that they could push the button on the Coke machine and Coke came out.
Yeah.
Software security is important pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought it was an interesting story. I'm actually in Idaho, so I thought, well, let me chat about that. I don't know
Something
if there's anything
local.
really groundbreaking or anything, but hey, everybody's got software is everywhere.
Software is everywhere.
And security. And security is required everywhere you use software. Anyways, that's what I had for this week. Short and sweet.
I'm really glad I'm in the software business. I love software. Having been tangentially related to hardware a few times, and I know you're far more into hardware than I am. I love software. It's like, just give me a virtual machine that we can program, and then whatever the hardware is underneath that, just make it go fast. Make it go fast.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Is anything you can imagine that you want something to do, you can do with software. Yeah. It's anything in your imagination you can create with software.
And then, of course, the issue with that is, well, software as a discipline is still very young. It's still very young. And so, that's why, security issues are still rampant. I mean, it's such a wide open field of possibility. We have access to the hardware all the way down to, instructions through the OS anyway. I expect, if we look forward decades, it will be fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer people that have access so deep in the system as people do today. It'll be more, I think, more people doing things like serverless is today, where you're running inside an abstraction on top of an abstraction on top of an abstraction on top of hardware somewhere. But the layers of abstraction also provide at least a little bit of insulation, and to the extent that that insulation still allows you to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. In general, I think it'll be considered irresponsible to, for the vast majority of software to be written lower than it needs to be. But the other thing, though, as a security guy, I kind of look at that with an eye of, well, somebody's got to actually understand how it works down below, or else there's possibility of exploitation. So anyway, very meta there.
Yeah. And exploitation exploits come in all shapes and sizes. It's not always the fancy stuff you see that makes the news. It's the simple bugs that allow the system to behave in a way you did not expect, and maybe to your detriment or your unexpected benefit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if anybody can find a benefit, even a little bit, and then multiply it by software speed or time. Anyway, that kind of leads in a little bit good to the topic that I had done, or that I picked out for this week, which is also kind of a small topic. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe this will just be a super short episode. But I saw a link, I think, I don't know, just in the last day or two, to visualizations for the data breach investigation report, the Verizon data breach report. I'm sure you've read.
Right, their big annual report.
Right. They do Verizon does an annual report every year that they go through and survey breaches across industries and around the world, and then present a big PDF that you can read that goes into just sort of the state of the security industry from certainly one perspective. This isn't really about that report per se, but it's a website that we'll put in the links, of course. But it's a visualization of the website. So it's let me see what the URL is. Oh, sorry, it's too long for me to say on air. You have to click the link in the podcast, or on the notes. But it's basically a bunch of data visualization of the report results. So if you go there, first of all, it wouldn't load in Chrome for me, which is a first in that it works fine in Safari. So
I'm viewing it in Chrome. So.
Oh, dang it. Really?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. 2 seconds. What? Then we'll leave this in. It's fine. What version of Chrome were you running?
Let's see. I know I'm on 60 about Chrome. I am on. Oh no, this is 67.
Okay.
This is a different laptop than I had upgraded to the new.
Okay. So, because I'm on 68, and my conjecture, I didn't spend any time trying to debug this. I was just like, hey, why doesn't this work in Chrome? Let me go to, it is a HTTP site, not a HTTPS site, which made me think that it was something to do with Chrome 68. So I guess
maybe
if
I'm on 67.
Yeah, you're on 67. This will be some live setup for follow up next week. If you don't mind, upgrade that laptop to 68 and then tell me if it fails for you. That would be great. Because I'm running 68 here. Anyway, all right, back to the topic at hand. So I'm loading it in Safari because that actually runs for me, and so there's the first one's just countries represented, but it's really just countries that had at least one vulnerability or breach reported. And anyway, I wanted to pull out a couple of interesting things about this. I thought, just first of all, go here. You can spend a half an hour kind of poking around and looking at various things. But the first kind of interesting comment that I would have, just kind of looking through the charts, is that 2015 was either a really big year for breaches or a really big year for reporting breaches. So I don't know, I don't know why, but if you look at the breach trends, and by default, it's only looking at ratios, which, everything's on a 0 to 100 scale, and that kind of tends to level everything out. But if you look for the values, 2015 was a significant spike over 14, 16, and 17. So again, don't know why. Could be just a reporting thing, but it'll be interesting to see if there's what happens for the next year or two if that sort of trend continues, and it's possible. It's been a while since I read the report. Seems like I don't remember when it exactly came out, but it seems like it's been a while, so I don't remember if they said anything specific in there about that. But so that was interesting, and this is where the top two are hacking and malware are the top two things for the entire time that it's been reported, pretty much. Maybe arguable at the beginning that physical breach was ahead. I can't quite tell from the numbers. But the third was social. So social engineering, phishing, that kind of stuff is the number 3 one. But it's kind of interesting. I would not, if you had asked me based on some of the other data we'd seen and just to rank what I thought the top few things would be, I would have put them in almost the exact opposite order, the top three at least. I would have put social as number one, and then I would have put malware, and then I would have put hacking. So evidently don't trust my intuition about what those would be.
Yeah, the one that I found interesting here was that on that same chart, the actors. And we've talked about this before, that it appears that internal actors are on the rise.
It does.
It's not always just someone from the external attacking and taking, doing damage. It's, your own internal employees that are a growing problem for you if you're, the CISO or something like that.
Yeah, let me put actors back to ratio. So this is basically showing about 30%. They don't have labels on this, but about 30% internal, which also I think I would have, I don't know. These are actually breaches though, not right. Just incidents. So maybe that's reasonable. If you go down to the next chart, this is a really, really hard chart to read. But just speaking of insiders, if you go to if you look on the top, so it says actors, and then it says internal, and the third group of columns is internals, and then down at the very bottom, it's on user device. So most of the incidents for the user device were about confidentiality or availability of the device. So I don't know the exact data underlying this, but confidentiality, I would think that would be exfiltrating data off the device, and availability would be something like ransomware. In thinking about integrity as just like the one, so not very prevalent, but what would that be? That would be somebody hacking in, not taking data, not removing your access to data, but subtly changing your data, right? Anyway, that's something that I think I will see far more of as time goes on. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with, a lot of the doxing and stuff like that that's happened in the last few years. But how do you know that the data that's being exposed hasn't been changed just in one or two places? It's 99.999% exactly as created, but choose the 1, 2, 3 places, 10 places, depending on how much is there, and just tweak it a little bit, add a sentence, change a word. If things aren't signed, which how many of our Word documents are signed? What's the trail that says that that person or that company didn't actually do this thing that got exposed? Anyway, so that chart's really hard to read, but the interesting things on there, the first was the actors, internal actors, as you kind of pointed out. And then the other thing I thought was interesting is the only dark purple for 2017 at least is under external hacking of servers, essentially harming their availability. So it was 19,000 versus the highest other number in these sort of group of columns is 2,000, 2,700.
Yeah, the other chart I thought was revealing was the data types. I don't know if you went and looked at that one. The two data types that are clearly on the rise, whether you look at, if you look at the ratio or the value, is personal data and medical data.
Yep.
Which you look at that and that frightens me. As attackers are going after personal and medical data, not just simply classified docs or, source code or credentials or some of the other things. Now we're getting into, I don't know what the right word is, but that one frightens me. That medical data, medical information is, trying to acquire that is on the rise.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that sour note.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, anyway, so, hey, sorry, real quick, battery check.
74%.
Oh, you're good. Okay, you're good.
Although you may have to do some noise reduction. I think my fan is working overdrive and probably going to be coming through the mic.
That's okay. The audio won't be as good. It'll just make us realize how happy we are and that you bought that nice Rode microphone.
To use at home. Yeah.
All right. Well, just a couple more things here. The first is that the path thing's kind of interesting at the top, right above the data types there. So it kind of takes internal and external, and then kind of breaks them out to, what are hacking versus social versus physical access, and then for some of those, for malware, what are those, and then sort of what they're after. I thought that was some of these data visualizations are fun to explore. With D3JS, which I think it looks like what they've used, because they've got D3 plus visualization on, kind of marked on all these things. But and then down a little bit farther, they've got the kind of a heat graph. Or a heat map. It's not. I don't know. It's not
the patterns.
It's not huge, but yeah, the patterns for web applications, or sort of how did it happen? So, Skimmer, which is interesting, 6% at Skimmer. So there's your gas station in Arizona.
Yeah.
Lost assets, espionage. Anyway, errors. Very, very interesting. And then I don't know. That's down near the bottom, and the thing I saw was just, hey, here's an interesting way to visualize some of the data, and it's kind of cool that they've got the years for each of those in down below. So for the patterns, for example, if you click through the years, you can kind of see, well, what was the big thing last year? Oh man, point of sale devices. Oh, the year before that was web applications. So that was the 2005 big spike. Was there a particular vulnerability that came out there? And then anyway, it kind of swings around. 2012 looks like it was the year of cyber espionage. But since they've got data going back all the way to 2009, this is a fun site to play around with. And if you actually kind of click through some of the years, it's it's fun to see. And you can even click through in, like, right below that that particular heat map. You can click in on, tell me about the cyber espionage. There's 151 breaches, and tell me where did those happen, and there's a little bit more information on that. So
yeah, it's very cool.
Anyway,
I very cool visualization of some of the data that you see.
Yeah. All right. So this almost was my something fun, but then I was like, it's kind of too big to be just something fun. It's gotta be a topic. So, all right. Well, hey, how about something fun for tonight?
I guess my something fun really is almost more advice. Hey, computers are fun, software is fun, but get outside every once in a while. Take a vacation every once in a while. I say that as the guy logging into the podcast while on vacation. But
that's okay.
Hypocrisy aside, That's really my something fun. I've had a great time so far this week. I've been fishing with my daughter. I'm teaching my son how to ride his bike. So we're learning how to do a bike ride.
Fun.
Just getting out, doing some hikes, wherever it is. And just getting out and having fun. There's more to life than the day job, I guess, is my something fun. Just a reminder there.
Well, I was off that week, second week of July, down camping, and we did a ton of hikes, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Good time. Well, I should have let you go last for the something fun, because that would have been a good way to wrap the show.
Well, I have a very Idaho-centric one, and I've had potatoes and everything. It's been a great week out here in Idaho.
Yeah, I still gotta get sometime when I drive through there, go to whatever that fry shack is, or that has like a whole bunch of different types of French fries.
Boise Fry Company.
Boise Fry Company.
They actually have one in downtown Portland.
They do?
Yeah.
All right.
They've expanded.
Road trip.
You got to get the purple fries. They're the best ones.
Road trip. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's that. Okay. That gives me maybe next time I'm in Portland, I'll look it up. Okay. Well, my something fun is not so fun as that. I don't think. It was just that so the thing that happened today that was of interest to the financial markets was that Apple hit $1 trillion in valuation, which
is insane.
Is a lot of money. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's a lot of money.
That's what the GDP of how many different countries aren't even close to that. I mean, Apple is a country in and of itself.
Yes, it is, and especially since they have a couple $100 million in basically cash equivalents. Although there's debt. Asimco had a great chart I saw that had sort of kind of a burn down chart for or burn up chart for valuation, and including cash return to shareholders through buybacks. And anyway, it was a very interesting chart. I wasn't intending on putting it here, but maybe I'll put my split my something fun into two things, because the fun part wasn't about the fact that they hit $1 trillion, though I didn't think, but it was just related to them. And one of the other things that I had kind of links I'd thrown aside this week to remember was about Apple, which kind of brought it home here. But for their betas, because Apple's currently betaing iOS 12, and I guess it'll normally come out when the fall phones come out in the fall, sometime September-ish. But the point that I thought was cool is, on the Apple earnings call this week, I think is where it came out, Tim Cook said that they have 4 million people using their beta software, which I just thought was astonishing. We've run a number of betas over time. I'm actually kind of involved in a beta right at the moment, where we're getting a bunch of early feedback, and we relish beta feedback. We love beta feedback. The thought that you could have your software running on 4 million devices to validate and prove out and get telemetry back for bugs, and I just think that is
how many successful companies don't even have 4 million customers.
Well, there is that. that totally as yeah. Sorry, maybe not. I won't say too much more about that, I guess. But it is one of the things that's very nice about having real and lots of customers is getting lots of feedback. But even still having 4 million beta running for months, right? I mean, the first beta of iOS 12 was released at WWDC the second week of June, something like that. And so, they'll have had that beta software running in production, sending back good amounts of telemetry, crashes, any other issues for 4 months, something like that. At least 3 months before release. Anyway, I just thought that's something cool. That's awesome. As a developer, as somebody who loves to squash bugs, I thought that was cool. Anyway, that was my something cool.
Well, and that one also comes with a number of, if I sidetrack on a commentary here on Apple's ecosystem, with 4 million people who I am going to guess a sizable portion don't understand the actual concept of beta. They just are told by a buddy, hey, you can get the latest iOS 12 early. And they do it, and then they find problems with apps in the App Store, and then they write crappy reviews. This has been a problem with Apple for a while, is people will download the beta and then go give 1-star reviews to apps that crash on the beta because the developers haven't, fixed their bugs before.
Right.
Because Apple doesn't start accepting
right.
Fixes for it until close to the end, until they get, close to the end of releasing. So
right.
There are pluses and minuses with that.
Well,
I suppose the ease of which you can run an Apple beta, it used to be you had to be somewhat technical to do it. Now all you got to do is download a cert and say accept. Android is the same way, by the way. Android P, the preview is you just enroll in the program and say go, and it all starts showing up.
Right. No, I mean, in general, I think we talked updating a couple shows ago too. I feel like continuous software updates is the way we're going, and
yep.
I still, to be honest, I don't even remember the last time I downloaded an iOS beta. I have done it before, but it was back when it was hard.
Yeah.
I certainly would. I'm not an iOS developer, so I'm certainly not going to put it on my daily phone. I use my phone daily. I wouldn't want to be without it for even a day, Anyway.
Yep.
All right.
Fun stuff.
Well, I guess you are like fishing man. We're going to have to call you the old man of the sea pretty soon. So go catch some more fish or something like that.
Oh, it was tasty too. We baked it. My daughter wanted to try a different recipe, so we tried baking it this time, and it was very tasty trout.
Fantastic.
So,
all right. Well, enjoy the rest of your vacation. I will talk to you next week.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.